Thank you for joining Asia's best radio station.
Download latest podcasts of Carry On Harry Show on iTunes.
Now shake hands with celebrities on Singapore Talk Show. Carry On Harry.
Inviting music composers, producers, artists on board on Carry On Harry Talk Show for connecting you to worldwide audience. Write to Harry Johal at carryonharry.com or visit www.carryonharry.com for more details.
Hi friends, welcome to yet another show with your talk show host Harry Johal. Today we are going to invite Dr. Robert J. Brown from California. Well, Dr. Robert J. Brown is Director of Advanced Oral Diagnostics and Treatment Center in California. Well, Dr. Brown is also author of a book by the title Why. Well, why seems to be a very good title because it's a very common word, but if we look into it in a microscopic view, I think it has got a very deep meaning to it. So why basically is a guidebook, a doctor's guide to taking control of your health and your health care. So we would be inviting Dr. Robert Brown to talk and discuss about what exactly is his book Why all about, and what are the things that he has highlighted through this book, and we will be getting a lot of insightful talks with him. So let's get connected with him and get to know more about writing up of his book.
Hello? Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, good morning at my end and good evening at your end, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Brown, it's pleasure, sir, connecting from Singapore to California, and talking to somebody who has given his life to the field of medicines and medical, and a lot of experience is behind you, sir. So tell us a little bit about yourself so that my listeners get to know more about Dr. Brown.
Yes. So I went to University of California and majored in physiology back in the 50s. And I graduated from there in 58 and went into University of California Medical Center. I got my degree at the University of California in physiology, and then I went into dentistry in the medical center. And I graduated in 64 and went into practice in the field of orthodontics and the field of dentistry. And during that time, I experienced some things that had happened to me and my family and others, and I wrote about this in my book entitled Why. And the reason I entitled my book Why is because that's the question that doctors don't ask enough before they give you a pill.
Correct.
And so we are seeing really basically tremendous mass murder through neglect because people aren't being diagnosed before they're being given a drug. So that's why I wrote the book.
So basically what you mean to say is that there are some loose ends in the field of medical.
Way more than there should be. Many. And a lot of it's due to the fact that the pharmaceutical industry pretty much controls the field of medicine and the money for research. For instance, there are cures for cancer that don't cost anything, but our government won't approve them because they don't cost anything, and nobody makes money. And they want, from all their actions that we've seen, they don't want the cure for cancer that isn't going to make somebody very rich. So there are simple little cures for cancer like hydrogen peroxide. They do that throughout Europe. And that was developed in Germany originally. And that costs pennies a day. And there's a wonderful book called The 1 Minute Cure that you can find on the internet that tells you how to do it. And that particular method of treatment of cancer is
correct. Sir, you have written a book by the title Why. After listening to the things that you have told me about your experiences in the field of medicines and pharmaceuticals, I think the question now is what is Why? What is the book Why all about? Is it like your personal experiences listed into this book, or is it like you have raised a few questions to the world of medicines and pharmaceuticals?
It's both. It's my experience. there's experiences I've had, one of which I actually went through the near-death experience where I went to heaven and came back, and that was caused by improper medicine. It was malpractice. Mm-hmm. My wife almost lost her leg due to poor medicine and not asking the question why. And my youngest daughter was born with asthma, the very kind of asthma that you can die from. And rather than ask why, they just gave her medicine. Well, I asked why, and this was 38 years ago. Mm-hmm. I asked why, and I cured her because her asthma was due to an allergy to milk, to dairy products, and to wheat. And once I took her off of those two products, she went on to become the world champion kickboxer.
Wow. So in a way, is just like a biographical kind of experiences that you have seen, within your life, and which has prompted you, to ask a question through your book. Why?
Yes, the reason for I wrote this book because I couldn't find any books that talked to his language so simple that he could understand it. And I even made the print so the older people could read it without having to strain. But what it is that it's a book that tells a man how to live his life in the most healthy way he can, and how to know if the doctor knows what he's talking about when he goes in for treatment. And my emphasis is on preventing disease rather than waiting till you're taking a pill. And I show people how to do that, and I've done it for myself, and it's changed my life around completely.
Correct. So is the book only, posing a question, or is it also giving a kind of a solution also to this question?
Oh, it's got an answer to every question.
Fine.
And what you can do to improve your life.
Okay, so why do you think that we often neglect, why whenever we are approaching a doctor? Is it our trust level on the doctor, or is it that we are now in a way, mentally conditioned to accept the facts that whatever, our doctor will be saying, we will be just blindly following? Do you think it's somewhere, fault of patients also that we are not asking this question, why?
Yes, that's exactly why I wrote the book, because it's up to the patient to keep on asking, why are you giving me this pill? And it's up to the patient to go home and look up that drug on the computer and see what the side effects are. Then go back to the doctor and say, why are you giving me, like there's one drug for psoriasis, which is just a skin irritation, and one of the side effects is death. Psoriasis can be easily cured by just dietary changes. Most of it's due to an allergy to wheat and grains. And the doctors, rather than study you and find out what you're allergic to, just give you a pill for it. The same thing with arthritis. Arthritis can be easily cured through diet. And yet the rheumatologist, the arthritis specialist, will tell you diet has nothing to do with it. Well, that's what they're told by the pharmaceutical industry.
Correct. So you yourself, hold a directorship in advanced oral diagnostics and treatment. Would you like to also tell us that within this book, have you tried to, bring out a few experiences of other people you have met or, come across in your life or during your medical practitioner days that, you have highlighted those cases in this book also?
I've in a lot of cases, and I've also referred the reader to other books that were some written as much as 50 years ago on curing arthritis. And it's actually clear back in 1925, a German doctor discovered that oxygen and acid blood cause cancer. Lack of oxygen and acid blood. And by giving oxygen and making your blood alkaline, which you can do simply by drinking lemon juice in your water, you can prevent most cancers. And he got the Nobel Prize for his discovery in 1931, and yet nobody's gone on to pursue this because it's so inexpensive. Nobody's going to make money on it. Another example of corruption in the pharmaceutical industry is when Pfizer invented Lipitor. Well, there's a protein called the Milano protein that was discovered about that same time that actually cleans out your arteries. Just doesn't lower your cholesterol, but cleans out the artery. Well, Pfizer, the company that makes Lipitor, bought up this company and shut it down because they didn't want any competition. Well, to me, in the United States, we have antitrust laws that should have been investigated, but you shouldn't be able to buy up your competition and shut it down.
Correct. And sir, since the book is already in the market now, what kind of feedback is coming from people who are in favor of the book and the critics who have tried to write against the book? Would you like to share a few experiences?
Well, I expect because most of the people that are, I explain this in my book why they feel this way, but most of the people are so dogmatic in their beliefs that anybody that disagrees with them, they get really upset. But Einstein once said that you can best judge a man by his enemies, not his friends, because if a man is making a difference in the world, he'll have enemies. And Einstein had lots of enemies when he started out. But the point is that I don't worry about critics. I'm only concerned with lives.
Correct. And so, as an author, how are you going to measure the success of the book? Is it through the book sales, or is it that people come forward to you and tell you that after reading the book Why, they have really started to think about the way they have been thinking about, like a preconditioned mind has been awakened. What will be your criteria of measuring the success of your book?
I have had nothing but incredible commendation on how much people loved the book and how they could understand and how easy it was to read. Because most medical books are very difficult to read. And I purposely went to the very simple language to describe very complex things so that people could make a decision. And so far, I have patients. I have one patient calling me from Seattle, and he read my book and he wants to come to me as a patient. And that's a little bit of, that's a couple thousand miles. So I had a man call me from or email me from Germany, and he was encouraging me to write another book because he's so in love with the one he just finished. Well, I'm going to be writing another book, but it's going to go a little deeper into it now that I have the original readers knowing some things, and we'll go into more depth and actually how to cure a lot of diseases.
Correct. We just hope that the motive with which you have written the book, it reaches far and wide to the people, and more people come to know about your perspective, because the question that you have picked up, the question of why, is quite relevant, because we are somewhere conditioned to accepting the things as they are, and we have in a way stopped thinking questions like why we are being recommended this particular prescription by a doctor or by other medical practitioners. But in a way, sir, it was quite informative from your side that you discussed the book with us, and probably I would like to invite you to tell us what are the platforms where people can buy this book, and what are the platforms where they can get to know more about you and your book.
Well, the book is located on Amazon.com, and I have a website, the book, in which I have other articles I've written, and it's called Dr. Brown Why. It's DrBrownWhy.com, and that'll get you into my website. And I will be putting in new blogs weekly about new discoveries in alternative medicine. One thing I'd like to bring up that's making me feel really good is the fact that some of the best medical schools in the world are starting to pick up alternative medicine, like Harvard and Stanford and University of California. and they started to actually listen to us. But in my practice, I have a pain practice. I take over cases that have been treated for years, and within weeks or just a couple of months, I have them totally free of pain because I'm not giving them a pill for the pain. I'm finding out what's causing the pain and curing that. And as a result, the fringe benefits, the side effects of curing the cause, is that the person's going to have a healthier life.
Correct. So it was lovely talking to you, and getting to know about your perspective about the field of medical, and this book. I just hope that it reaches far and wide. So I would appeal my listeners to please search for the book Wide, written by Dr. Bob Brown on Amazon, and you can visit drbrownwhy.com to get to know more about Dr. Brown and his book. So on that note, sir, I thank you very much.
Well, thank you, too. It was a pleasure being with you.
Thank you for being in tune with Best Talk Show. Carry On Harry with entertainment editor Harry Johal on balabala.radio.co.uk. Inviting music composers, producers, artists on board on Carry On Harry Talk Show for connecting you to worldwide audience. Write to Harry Johal at carryonharry.com or visit www.carryonharry.com for more details.